because I don't know if it's working. There it is. I think it's working now. um, I think it wasn't working for a second. I needed to unplug it and replug it. It's working now. I think I should. Um, let me just see if everything's good. If I'm on the right settings or if I'm not. It seems like I'm on the right settings. Everything should be good. Let me hear it on my end. Okay, so now it's working. Cool. I just wanted to see if everything was fine and cool and dandy. Hey guys, Tower Climber here, and today we're going to be reacting to 2 chapters of Tower of God. Kind of like a thing. If we're not reacting to one, we're always reacting to 2. I try not to go longer than that without giving you guys a chapter reaction. Very excited for these chapters. I know that I don't know anything about them. I saw like a slight like little thing on Reddit, I think, and then I just scrolled past it. I know obviously they have to do with Tromrai, especially since we left off where we left off last time with the whole V stuff. It's very chaotic. But I know something happens with Tromrai. Obviously he's even the thumbnail of this one. I don't know fully what's gonna happen. If I were to take a guess, I would say that maybe Gusting saves him from that attack that V did last chapter. I don't think either that or he's in critical condition from that attack. Even though V seemed pretty sure that it was gonna be pretty fatal, at least, because that's the whole point of it. But other than that, I don't really know. Double chapter hype after you done two is left and till the hiatus. The hiatus is gonna be painful. Yes, but hopefully it's not as long as the as one of the I don't remember actually which hiatus it was, but I say you took a hiatus and it was like a long hiatus, which again he deserved it, but it was definitely really long and the wait was excruciating. So hopefully it's not as long as that one. And I still don't know. I think we don't know the information about what that side story thing was gonna come out. I don't know how long it's gonna be. I don't know if it's just gonna be a few chapters long or if it's gonna be like a whole little different part of Tower of God. We don't know. But yeah, I'll look into all that stuff obviously later on. But everything seems to be working fine. The audio seems to be good. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep my thing playing in the back so I'm able to read your guys' messages and see anything if you guys need to say something, and then I'll go and look at that stuff. But I don't really have much predictions for this chapter overall, other than that maybe we'll be wrapping up the whole arc, because there's, like I said, there's only like 4 chapters left with these 2 included, so who knows really. I'm very excited. People that I trust say that I am going to love these chapters a lot. What if Tromrai showed up at the end of season 1? Weird weird topic. I don't know. I don't know if he would recognize if Bomb was an irregular or not. Maybe he would. I don't know if irregulars have like a different sense to them. We know Evan was able to tell that Bomb was unique. Kind of. But he even said that Bomb didn't sense like all the other he didn't sense like Yerk Mazzino. He didn't sense like those types of people. So it'd be interesting if Tromrai showed up. If he would know that Bomb was an irregular. But if he showed up, no one else in that floor would be able to do anything against him. But I don't know what he would do. Also, like, what would he do? I don't know. He doesn't have any reason to kill someone or do something like that. So I don't know what would happen. Yeah. other than that, I don't really have much to say about that one. But let's go into it, I guess. Now that we got all that figured out, am I in the right page? I am in the right page. Cool. All right. if you showed up, we could have skipped 500 chapters ahead. Yes, and also determining what he does, they could have ended 500 chapters short the story of Tower of God. So probably good enough, good reason for that not to happen. You know. So yeah, let's just get into it. Let's just get right into it. And it seems like we're getting a recap, which is good because again, we haven't I kind of need a refresh. I haven't reread the chapters with V, which I should do because I am curious and I probably want to see if I can do a video about it, and try to speculate some stuff about that whole stuff. I had a lot of talks with people in my comment section about V and his personality and his, like, is he a bad father? Which I never actually even said he was a bad father. Like, he didn't even get to be a father, right? I can't really say he's a bad father if you die before your kid is born, like, right? But it's definitely clear that the way he talked about Bomb and the body of Bomb, it seems a lot more like he sees this Bomb as more of a tool to achieve his goals, which I think it's very clear. Some people even asked me, like, if because I said something, if I said something in what did I say specifically? I think I said a comment last chapter reaction. I said if I said something like, if you think the Bomb is doing any of the things he's doing for Arlen, then you haven't been reading Tower of God, or something like that. I said something like that along the lines, and I didn't mean it in a negative way. I didn't mean it like you are not true fans of Tower of God. I just meant that I don't think you understand the character of Bomb if you think that's why he's doing it, in my opinion, because again, it's all opinionated, but at the same time, it's been pretty heavily reinforced in the story that Bomb isn't doing anything of what he's doing because of Arlen, or because of a sense of a duty to Arlen. He's doing it because of his friends, and for like trust me, I've reread Tower of God a lot of times, and to make videos and to just to have fun reading again. And Bomb has never had a moment in the story where he says, I'm gonna do this because of my mom, I'm gonna do this because of my mom and dad, I'm gonna do this for what they suffered. He has never said that in entire story. He learned about the truth about them, and even when he met the family heads, he didn't immediately be like, oh, the family heads are evil just because of everything I heard. He had to experience right to his face with Tromrai being evil in front of him, not giving people consent to getting married. He was like, okay, so now I know you guys are pieces of trash, so now I don't like you. That he had to still confirm it in his mind. So it's again, it's a more complicated matter than just obviously that both me and everyone and the person that I was talking to let it be, but still, in my opinion, he's not doing this for Arlen, and V saying that that's all we want, to avenge Arlen, that's not true. That's just a matter of the fact it's not true, because our Bomb isn't there in the moment to agree with V about that. He's talking for Bomb. That was all I was saying at the end of the day. So I just kind of wanted to lay that out before we started, because that's just my opinion on V in this, at least that little piece of situation that was happening, just because I thought it was also interesting talking a little bit more about Bomb's character, since I assume we're probably not going to see him in these chapters. Maybe we are, maybe we got cut back to Luslek and V and stuff like that, but it'd be interesting to also hear your guys' opinions on the matter. It's just a fun conversation no matter what. But yeah, Yeah, the end of season 3 gives a lot of new topics to talk about. Seems like there's a whole part of the cake we don't know, since it seems the original V, but we can't understand him. Yeah, definitely. And we don't even know if this entity is actually 100% V. It's very close to he is, but there could be so many pieces of the stuff that we don't know about. But I know these chapters are somewhat long. I think at least the second one is. So I'm gonna start reading now. I just wanted to cover that because I thought that was very interesting. But it was nice seeing you again. This is V talking, my dear friend. He walks off into the abyss with Lustlike, which was, again, Lustlike and V meeting was super cool. And somebody did point out that, yes, I made a also mistake. It's a long story. All the details don't always rush into my mind at every single second. V was stated to be Lustlike's master in the Floor of Death. So it wasn't just a blog post information, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure, although obviously it's a long story, it's even more longer if you include the blog post stuff. So I don't actually know, but I'm pretty sure that Lustlike was revealed to be, V was revealed to be Lustlike's master in the blog post a long time before that actually happened in the Floor of Death. Anyway, so my statement was still kind of correct, but it was nice to see them physically just being like, oh, master, oh, student, all that kind of stuff. It was interesting and fun interaction in the first place. What if Bomb died on the Floor of Death? I'm guessing you mean to hell Joe. If Bomb died on the Floor of Death, well, I'm guessing also you mean if Yurik wasn't there, because if Yurik was still there, that would have never happened. Yurik would have never allowed that to happen. Interesting. I mean, that does change stuff, but also that you know what? That does change a lot, obviously. Bomb's the main character. It changes a lot. No matter what point he dies, it changes a lot. But interestingly enough, that does change Gusting meeting Bomb, and also Gusting telling him to go after the Jihad bracelet on right after he meets him on the Floor of Death. So that's interesting. So that's something that changes immediately, that comes to my mind. There's the crash. Wherever you are, I hope you aren't too lonely. Fear not, soon enough I'll be sending the rest of your friends to join you in the underworld. It's still such a badass line. I love how a lot of people took that line as like, underworld exists in Tarragot. It's like, I mean, who knows? Maybe there's definitely probably stories of the underworld. Because if there's stories of Prometheus, there's stories about maybe Hades, maybe the underworld. That'd be fun. That'd be a fun little connection. I just thought of that right now when I said that. But yeah, I know how easily you get lonely. There's a big crack in the. It seems like this is due to the effects of the Lustlike spell, the light charge, I think, or bright charge, whichever one it is. I think they're both correct in different translations, but I don't know which one is actually the one for Webtoon. I can't remember. There's the crashing waves of the flood still happening. The battle between the family leaders, V4. Maybe we will get some V stuff then, if this is still considered V4. Or maybe this is just, I don't know. Let's keep reading. Not going to speculate too much. Lustlike, that slimy son of a bitch. I love it. I've said this last chapter, I think, too, but I do just love Lustlike infinitely pissing off Yurik so much. To the point of he's done it 3 times by now, and it's so funny every single time. The first time it was funny because of the aftermath of Yurik's reaction. The second time it was funny because it happened a second time, you know, and it came out of nowhere. We didn't know Lustig was on the battlefield. This time we knew he was on the battlefield, so we were just waiting for it to happen one more time. But Mazzino, he just keeps taking losses to Lustig over and over again. He slipped away from me again. I just imagine Lustig being like, okay, I'm gonna keep this spell pocketed for a long time, because this one's pretty good, getting away from Yurik. Shit, this isn't good. You just see the swirling Shinsu. There's no way Tromrai survived that. So like I was saying, we don't know if that actually killed Tromrai, but Yurik seems to think, which I would trust Yurik's gauge of power, I guess. He's a very strong being. If he's saying that attack would have been enough to kill the weakened Tromrai. I could have blocked it if I were a light bearer. That's interesting. Such an interesting mention. We know that obviously, you know, Yurik is able to be a light bearer. We know that he is able to be in any position, all 5. But obviously he doesn't have the light bearer equipment. So if he had like the lighthouses around, he would have been able to do that. So interesting, so cool. Such a cool little just offhanded comment that he's like, oh man, if I were a light bearer, I would have been able to block that. What if all the princes of Jihad were incomplete? Interesting. Like all the quote unquote clones that we've been speculating about, what if they're just incomplete versions of Jihad? That'd be a very interesting way to take the story. Just like fragments of Jihad, which I kind of think it's what it's leading towards. But I also have been hearing a lot of other theories that are very interesting. Yurik is surprised by something, and yep, kind of what I speculated. Here is Pobedao. Well, that was a long. I was waiting to say Pobedao Gustang protecting Lopopia Tromrai. I was trying to be dramatic and say it when he showed up, but the panel was too long, so I just kind of had to hold my breath. Yeah, but he blocked it. It seems like with the same shield that he used to block Tromrai's old attack. Maybe it's a different one. It seems very similar to it. I can't tell from the shot. But I like that shot either way. Just a very badass shot of him holding up the Jade Awakening stick. Gusting. Yurik is surprised. How did he know he was going to use that attack? Yeah, it seems like the same orb barrier that was we originally saw it with what's his name? I forgot his name. I know his name, but it just leaves my mind right now. I know it's Pobedao. What's his name? The light bearer with Dumas. Oh my god, I forgot his name. Okay, I'll go back to it. We saw it earlier in the story with the one with Dumas, but obviously it's now in Gusting's possession. The person who's now possessed the irregular was once a companion of ours long ago. It's cool. I'm quite familiar with his repertoire of skills and tactics. Wow, interesting. So this was like a tactic of V in the past, leave a little Shinsu behind and as a kind of like a landmine and use it to attack from when people were least suspecting it. Interesting, very interesting. It seems like that would be something that V would have either we don't know, right? But I don't know why, but that feels like something he would have learned later on than what we've seen in the flashback. Because in the flashback we saw with V, he seemed very upfront. Like we never saw him fight, but his personality seemed very upfront. about things. That doesn't seem like a tactic that he would use during that flashback, but later on, maybe later on, he would have used a tactic like that more when he climbed further and got more corrupt like all the other family leaders. He didn't manage to pierce the barrier, but he made a dent in it. Wow, interesting. If he becomes any stronger, I could be in serious danger. Yeah, because we know that V said that he wasn't at his 100% best. I only came here because Bakery Yoon, again, love Bakery Yoon getting mentioned. Bakery Yoon and Yuri asked me to come and see what's going on. This whole and Yuri, yeah, we got confirmation that Yuri was the princess that they talked about last chapter, I think, or the chapter before that. This whole situation just keeps getting more and more confusing. Are you saying you used to be friends with the guy who's now in that baby's body? And yeah, now that we see the whole dome, yeah, it's exactly the same one that he used. What if Tromrai never climbed the tower? He wouldn't be a family leader. Just kidding. But that's actually something that wouldn't happen. What if he never climbed the tower? I don't know what that question entails. I don't know if that means that if he never entered the tower in general, but what if he that would be funny. Imagine if he entered the tower, but just in floor 1 he was just like, you know what, this rabbit guy is annoying, I'm not doing this. That would be very funny, and I don't think completely out of character for Tromrai to do. But imagine he just like, F this, I'm not doing this climb. And he just never climbed. But he stayed on floor 1 with the head on. He was just like, I'll stay with you. Just bring me animals, and I'll be fine. Interesting. That's right. But he's supposed to be dead. He starts. He uses his one arm to hold the jade stick while he gets a cigarette. How in the world is he still alive? And what's he doing in that irregular body? None of this makes any sense. It's probably too late to chase them down now. So what's the plan? Are you two going to keep fighting? Gusting looks down at Tromrai laying there. He could just kill him at this point. If so, then you leave me no choice. No, I think not. He inhales. I can't fight him while he's in this state anyway. As you wish. We'll settle this with a game of chess. Interesting. Very interesting. He's saying, I can't fight him while he's in this state anyway. So he's saying, well, obviously you can't fight him, he's unconscious. But, it'd be interesting. Because even though Yurik says that Bakery Yoon and Yuri told him to do this and that's why he's here, he also told Luslik that he doesn't want any of the family heads to die just yet. So even if Gusting was just like, okay, I'm gonna kill him, Yurik would probably step up and be like, yo, don't kill him, do whatever you gotta do through chest, just make this quiet, whatever, that kind of stuff. Interesting. But I wonder if that's all there is to it. If it's just Yurik being there that he made him not kill him. So you can get lost now. Or if that a part of Gusting didn't want to just kill him like that. Even though he was going to do it earlier. Kun looks up, Bellerir is looking at Kun. Kun just looks where Bomb went and he says Bomb. Very interesting with the way we're leaving off. Again, how is it going to play out in season 4? Is V just going to be controlling Bomb's body? Are we going to get a quote-unquote new main character? Not really, but just we're going to be following other people and not following Bomb, because Bomb is not in control of his body. It'd be a very interesting way to take the story. Oh, and Bellerir just takes the chance while Kun is distracted. He takes the opportunity to grab the chess piece. The chess piece. Kun looks back just in time, but will he be able to react? That was a long page break. Not on my watch. You go, Dorsey. You know, Dorsey destroyed Bellerir's observer last chapter, and now she's getting him back for everything and kicking him in the side of the head. And it staggered him, definitely. Kun runs away. She grabs onto him because she probably knows that wouldn't do that much. Probably again staggered him. He staggered him long enough to grab him, get away with the bong bong. Yeah. Like, don't die. Like, I think it's very fun. And it is funny because I do think Bellerir is like the weakest ranker. It is very funny to rag on Bellerir. But Dorsey herself did say that he was going to one-shot her earlier. And if she didn't avoid it with the bong bong, he was going to punch her and knock her head clean off, she said. So, to at least Dorsey, Kun, he is physically still somewhat of a threat to them. So she just bonks him on the head to try to distract him and flash away. And Dorsey, how many times have actually I would want to go back to this arc and count how many times Dorsey's used the bong bong, because she has been saying that she's getting tired from using the bong bong, but because we know there's like a stamina limit to how much she can use it. But I wonder actually numbered how many times she used the bong bong in this arc. Don't just stand around staring off into space. We're in the middle of a game. Hold on to that piece and run. It's good that Dorsey has a clearer head than Kun right now. Even though, you know, obviously Dorsey cares about Bomb immensely as well, but she's still more focused. She looks at Kun. She's like, we both got stabbed today. Let's just finish this game and go. They sprint off. Damn it, after them. We can't let them get in that room. Why don't you use the bong bong? That was the last time just now. I mean it. It practically killed me to use it one more time. Okay, so again, good confirmation. We know depending on the distance and how many times you use it, the bong bong gets harder to use. Longer and longer and longer, right? The more you use it. It drains your stamina, stuff like that. And Dorsey said it. So yeah, and Dorsey's like, okay, dude, I just did it so we wouldn't get killed by that ranker, where we just did it not to lose the game. But I couldn't do it that far, and I couldn't do it for this is the last time I could do it. So they just have to run now. We see the arena at the Sprout. The finish line is just ahead. Quit your whining and move it. For Christ's sakes, they're getting away. Don't you have a better way to catch up to them? Just read I read a little bit of. What about you, Mr. Ranker? I don't hear you suggesting any ideas. You can't even fly. Any brilliant ideas? You can't even fly. Gee, sorry, I can't sprout wings on command. Why the hell is everyone getting on my case about not being able to fly? It's just really funny. And I think a lot also people forget the Bellerir is not the only ranker that can't fly, because I think I even got confused on it, because people were like, I think I said something similar to that. It's like, to be fair, he is from the Tengri family, so it's a little weirder that he can't fly, but there have been other rankers that have had to use thrusters to be able to fly, because flying is a Shinsu manipulation skill. We saw, I forgot her name, I think it's H14 in the last station. She was a ranker scout I only know this because I'm making a script that involved her. She was a Ranker Scout that had jetpack to fly around. So she can't fly either. So Bellery is not the only one. It's just very funny that he can't fly, and everyone's getting on his case about it. And it's very funny. What's it called? There's a big flash. There's a blast, a big booming blast. I'm guessing this is gusting that land right in front of Kuhn and Dorsey. Yeah, it is gusting. Again, putting it prominently that he does not have one arm. There's a big explosion around the room. There's a thing. It's him. They all say in unison. All surprised, shocked. Poe, but out gusting. As he's holding onto Tromrai with his other hand. Lord Gusting, you finally made it. I knew you'd emerge victorious, sir. But I'm afraid I have some bad news. That jerk from the Kuhn family stole both of our chess pieces. How's Gusting gonna react to what he's saying? We need you to get them back for us, my lord. Kuhn immediately is like, hold on, I think there's been a misunderstanding. These chess pieces of ours belong to the Pobedao family. If you let us keep them, you'll win the game. Is that true? Do they not have... No, Kuhn does have both the kings. That he has the Pobedao and the king of what's it called? Of Lopobia. He has both of them. So yeah. However, if I carry those chess pieces into the arena myself, I can have both your freedom and the chess pieces. But you're the prey and I am the hunter. Isn't that how this is supposed to work? But I'm feeling generous. I'll let you keep the chess piece. I'll let you take the chess pieces into the arena yourselves. Interesting. I only ask that you give Lopobia's king to Tromrai first. What? You want me to hand over Lopobia's king over to Tromrai, to Lord Tromrai, but why? He's clutching it hard. Isn't it obvious? We're going to play chess. Kuhn looks surprised. What if no one could fly? That does change a lot of stuff. I guess the workshop would get a lot more money because they would just have to make a lot more jetpacks for everyone to fly around, because again, the tower is it's like they have floating islands everywhere. You probably need to fly at some point. You probably need to find a way around it. Either that or everyone really becomes good at using Love's flying disc, the blue ore, to fly around everywhere. What? My lord, what are you saying? We had a deal. You were supposed to give me that chess piece. I thought the whole purpose of this war was for the weak vermin of the tower to bring down the Tengri family leaders. Yeah, that is something that Gusting himself said to Tromrai, that he's going to mass produce the weapons for the weak vermin of the tower. And we've seen that with this war. We've seen that with the Shinto Black Hole Sphere technology that has been getting mass produced. Silence. Or not mass produced, just produced, I guess, because not a lot of people have it. Don't you realize that you've already lost the game? Bellerear. What do you mean, sir? The game isn't over yet. I gave you a chance, but you let those lowly creatures beat you. Just look at the distance between you. Is that not clear proof of your defeat? Interesting. I mean, yeah, you had a long distance between them, and they would have definitely gotten to the place first. So you're saying it doesn't matter if the game's over or not. You lost. This was a fair contest, just like you've always wanted. He's sweating, and yet you are still defeated, Bellerear. If I were to interfere with the outcome of the game, wouldn't that run against the very idea behind this war? Yeah, just like Bellerear said, isn't the whole point for this war, as he puts it, for the weak vermin to win, to get over the family heads? But Gusting is saying, wouldn't that defeat the whole purpose if I, the person you are claiming to want to get over, defeat, overcome, helped you? That defeats the whole purpose of what you just said. So if I were to help you, if I was to win the game for you, that would go against the whole point. Very interesting. Whole things. You're the ones who have earned the right to negotiate with me as equal. Or they're the ones who've earned the right to negotiate with me as equals, not you. They won the game fair and square. You're simply a failure. Damn. I mean, everyone in the community has said it already, Bellerear. So now you just get told it by. Reminder: Haku poll is still up. Yes, everyone go vote for Haku's character, Tower God character poll. I've been doing it. I've been doing it not every day. Some days I forget, some days I'm busy, but I've done it every time I've remembered to do it. And I've been trucking alone. Can vote 3 times a day. Yep. For 3 characters a day. Okay, fine. You can have the chess piece. What? But on one condition. Bellerear is a failure. Almost the Rachel of rankers, yeah. I'll let you have this chess piece if you accept. You can have this chess piece if you accept it in place of Bomb's queen. I'll let the chess piece, and you'll let the chess piece, and Bomb will win the game and gain his freedom. And one more thing, I want you to help us find Bomb. Interesting. And tell us if you know anything about what happened to him. Very interesting. Which I think it's all reasonable stuff. I don't think he's going too far. I think he's like, help us find Bomb, and help tell me what's happening to him. Because again, from their perspective, they're completely in the dark. They have no idea what the hell just happened. I don't even think they saw him leave with Luslik, and even then, they don't know who Luslik is. They've never met Luslik, so they wouldn't know anything. They wouldn't even know that Luslik is connected to Fug. So yeah. Fine, it's a deal. I have a feeling it could be a challenge even for me to find him, but I promise I'll try my best. Interesting. Alright. Here's the king. He puts it down. Let's go. Coming. No, stop right there. Bellarier's shouting. Oh, is Gusting gonna kill Bellarier? That'd be interesting. I think Bellarier's body's still made of jello. I think it is. Yeah, it should be. I don't know why that would change. But I wonder if he's gonna kill Bellarier here. Dang it. So you changed your mind, huh? I knew this would happen. You filthy family leaders can never be trusted. He's fully going off. He's just letting it all out. You act like you're different from the others, but you're all the same. You just decided you don't want to give us vermin a chance to bring down the Tangri family leaders after all. God damn it. I'm so close now. Get out of my way. Is he gonna try to attack? Gusting, get out of my way. You pathetic excuse for a father. Damn, and also, Gusting is looking at him with a death glare right now. I don't know if he's actually going to try to attack him, but he's yelling in his face. You pathetic excuse for a father. That'd be a cold line if Gusting just looked at Bellarier and said, "I'm not even your father. you're a mere writing of mine," or something like that. It's interesting. It's also interesting how Bellarier is even connected to the whole Pobedao family. If he is a writing person or if he's not. And like the whole red light district thing with Bellarier's character, it's interesting. But yeah, I don't know. If he does survive, it's a miracle that Gusting decided to keep Bellarier alive after hearing that. But Coonan and Dorsey enter the chess thing, the arena with the chessboard in it. They placed the king down. Yeah, the whale's the king. Yeah, they placed Pobedao's king down on the chair. How much time do we have left? 1 second. Oh, 1 sec. We're okay. There's still time on the clock. We made it. They put both of the chess pieces down. The I don't remember what the octopus is. I think it's the rook. I think it's the rook because I think if I'm forgetting, I think that Gororo also had the same chess piece as Rack, and he said, "I have a rook, right?" I think that was what it was. I remember that being like a scene before he got taken over by Enkidu. Gusting's look, oh my god. Gusting already broke the promise to Kun by not sharing information he did know. Interesting. That's an interesting way of looking at it. I guess he means like after the chess game is done. Obviously, again, Kun can't really do anything. Like if he doesn't carry through the promise. They didn't really make a deal with like an administrator, so like what is it gonna do? Like is Gusting just gonna get Gusting? Nothing happens to Gusting. They just made the deal. And you know, but what would Kun really do? Well, if Gusting didn't tell him anything, nothing, I guess, right? But still interesting. I mean, I like I said, maybe it just means like after the chess game is done, he'll tell him what he knows about Bomb's condition. But yeah, because again, they're still in the middle of the game, so Kun kind of was like running ahead. He didn't really have much time to think about it. And Dorsey just slumps on the ground. Yeah, and Dorsey just slumped after everything. Dorsey was pretty clutch to this arc with all the teleporting around. Yeah, Bellarie's still alive. No, this can't be. I won't allow it. You can't get away with this. Oh, and you see the Goro head popping up too, in anger. Slay the chess pieces. Game over. Damn. Maybe. Fair, we'll see about Gusting and Kun. Yeah, I think we have to see about like that whole stuff. I don't think it's like, you know, I think it's a little too early to say, oh, Gusting already broke the promise. Yeah, I think he has to do the game first, and then he'll tell Kun what he knows. If he doesn't, again, what is Kun gonna do? But at the same time, you know, like, I think we have to wait a little bit before saying Gusting already broke the promise. But yeah, Bellaria probably isn't a writing person. He might be from the red light district. Oh, he might be a red light district Gusting clone. Interesting method. Like thing. The whole thing with the red light district right now is screwy with the whole information we got about what it actually is. In the whole Bellaria stuff. What if family heads were good parents? We'd have legitimately every single issue with Tower of God would be solved. What if the family heads were good parents? And guess what? We don't have a story. More, I say that jokingly, but at the same time, not jokingly. If every single family head was a good father and good person, we wouldn't have a story. Legitimately wouldn't. It just wouldn't happen. Slay the chess pieces, game over. There's no line of events that would have happened. The game Slay the chess pieces have come to an end. We see the arc of knowledge with some pobed out ships in front of it. Since both families' kings made it into the arena within the time limit, the match will soon begin. We see soldiers, pobed out soldiers, and Lopobia soldiers. Just some alive, some dead. I know that the air has the Shinsu in the sky has been like red before the fighting started, but it's cool. It's a cool visual that like after the war is done, the sky is just red. Like, you know, you can symbolize the red, the blood, whatever, but it doesn't mean that it's been red before the fighting even started. I know that. So I'm not saying like the blood turned the sky red with Shinsu and all that stuff, but it's a cool visual. Because it was already red before, what's it called? But I like this panel. I've been saying I like a lot of like the weird, not weird, but a lot of like the establishing shots of the war, just about the random soldiers from both sides, because, you know, it kind of humanizes it. You see this soldier here with holding another soldier that probably meant something to him. Like maybe they were friends, maybe, who knows, right? Brothers, who knows really, but it shows that these are not just, they are just the fodder of the family, but, you know, they still have lives in the family. And a lot of them got massacred. So many of them got massacred, and it shows, I think, a more seriousness of the war. Robodon looks on. Robodon is like, I want to say Robodon and who else? I forgot who else survived. Actually, Robodon, I think it's Robodon. Elbaba survived. Elbaba didn't die, did he? No, he did not. Elbaba did not die, which is good, because I think I would actually want Elbaba to meet Elaine at some point. And White Garment Widow we never saw her in this war at all. We saw her for one panel. I think she stayed back on the battlefield, the battleship. But White Garment Widow did not die either. But for all intents and purposes, most of the Lopobia family is not alive anymore. At least a lot of the important figures. York is looking over the arena. We see Oh, we see, I think would this be Tromrai opening his eyes? Where am I? Oh. Yeah, it was Tromrai. Where am I? He looks. You're finally awake. Gusting. I'm not sure. You sure kept me waiting long enough. If this were a real chess game, you'd already be disqualified. Damn. Come on, let's get started. It's time to play some chess. There's only 3 chess pieces on the board. Or is there 4? It seems like these are all Pobedau's. Like the king, the rook, and this thing. I don't know what this one is. And I don't know whose chess piece that is. Is that Kuhn's chess piece? Oh, it is Kuhn's chess piece. He's had Kuhn was a pawn. I forgot about that. Because of all the lying that Kuhn did about him being the king and about him, doing all the things he did with Dumas. I literally forgot that he had a pawn. Yeah, it's Kuhn's pawn, and Dorsey's king, and Rack's rook. If I'm remembering that the names correctly. What happened? All I remember is getting hit and then passing out. How did I end up here in the arena? Oh, you were knocked out cold. I love Gusting. He still wild to see him with only one arm. Although we don't have time to go into all the details right now. I feel like this would be the best time, depending on what happens later after this. I think that would have been the best time to go over the details with Tromrai. But I guess he just wants to get this over with. All you need to know is that we're here now, and we're going to play chess. Gusting, you could have killed me. Why did you save me and bring me back and bring me here? He realizes that he looks at the chessboard and realizes that he only has the king. Yeah, it's not going to be a very long chess game. Just a single king. Very poetic. Where are my other pieces? Is this some kind of joke? I love how offended he looks. I love that face for Tromrai. He just looks a very normal face. He doesn't look like, I don't know why, I don't know how to describe it. Just a very casual looking face. This moment with Gusting and Tromrai very much reminds me of afterwards of Data Jihad and Data Edwan. They were like antagonistic to each other, not like how they actually were during the climb of that time period. And then but after they needed to have a common goal, a common enemy with the big Data Jihad, they were just like instantly friends again, like just, hey, jokes around, laugh, doing all the stuff, joking, hey, I'm the leader, hey, no, like, you do all this stuff, you need to do this for me because I'm the leader, right? It's just instantly going back to that humanizing thing, which I think is very interesting. But then they're just in Tromrai, it's just like, where are all my other chess pieces? But yeah. None of them came back. Those were the rules of the game. What do you want me to do about it? The king is the only piece you managed to bring into the arena in time. Because Tromrai was like, I think Tromrai said one chapter, he was like, I'll be fine. All my people, all my pieces are like high rankers and all that kind of stuff. I'll be fine. I have a bunch of chess pieces left and I'll be okay. But that did not happen. He might as well have just killed me. Yeah, honestly. I mean, again, we don't know what really happens. Is the administrator just going to come down and be like, okay, Trauma, you are dead now? Or what's going to happen? It's interesting. Because we've been talking about, like, what does this game actually entail? Because we know the administrator or guardian signed off on this game and rules and stuff like that. So, be interesting. This is ridiculous. A big empty chessboard with nothing but a lone king on it. It really suits me, doesn't it? What? In fact, it's perfect. I couldn't imagine a more fitting ending. And this is the thumbnail. This is the thing. The thumbnail for this chapter. For someone like me. Traumarai. Gusting is looking on. He tries not to act like it, but he gets lonely more easily than any of us. Super interesting. Indeed. There's nothing he hates more than loneliness. To be continued. That's a really good chapter. I like it a lot. A solid chapter. Very, very solid chapter. You're right, I love Traumarai's expressions. Time to play chess. You played millions of games, but this is the first time you play like this. Yeah, pretty big handicap, Just kind of like, I do wonder, it's always now because of this like whole situation, the slay the chess pieces. Now we're always gonna wonder what would have happened if they just played chess. What if the whole slay the chess pieces thing never happened? What if they just played chess? Would Traumarai just won? Is it that black and white? Would have Gusting find a way to beat Traumarai? But I think that's fine. I think it keeps the mystery of who would have actually won, but also like it kind of keeps Traumarai's title of like the best chess player in the tower. A weird title, but yeah, kind of like his whole like status is beating Gusting in the past, being the best person at playing chess in the tower. Kind of keeps that intact. Traumarai probably would have won. Yeah, I think so too. But at the same time, it's always gonna be a question mark because of how it went down like this. I'll talk about this chapter after we're done with both of them, so let's just get right into the next chapter. But overall, solid chapter. Like the chapter a lot. I did like Belarir's anger. I liked that scene a lot. But yeah. To be fair, no, I thought somebody wrote something else for some reason. Warning. We'll get a warning. This episode contains depictions of self-harm. Ooh. Viewer discretion is advised. Very interesting. Ooh, sorry. Interesting violence warning. I was not gonna read it, but then I read the self-harm thing. Someone. Okay. I'm not gonna speculate too much on that, but let's just continue with the chapter. Hopefully, I don't remember anything that got spoiled to me because I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of things. The game 1, interesting. We changed the title, and game 1. I don't know how this is going to be stretched out into more of a game. You know what I mean? Because I'm pretty sure it's not going to be that long. We see the clank. Clack. We didn't get I was gonna say we didn't get the rules like with Kun. When Traumarai played chess with Kun, it was like speed chess, like one move every 5 seconds or something like that. But we didn't get anything like that for this. Although at the same time, we really don't need it. Like, it's pretty clear who's gonna win. He moves his rook. There's another clack. Gus, Kunin and Dorsey are just like, we're done with today. Where we got him stabbed in places we shouldn't be stabbed, and we're still alive somehow. We're just taking a rest over here. This is the first time I played chess knowing that I'm going to lose right from the start. Very interesting experience. Would you stop grumbling already? You can't change. Would you stop grumbling already, Tramrai? You can't change anything now. We used to make bets like this all the time, remember? This is gonna be that type of chapter. God damn it. Goodness, this is gonna be that type of chapter. Alright. We're gonna get the whole introspection, the whole thing. Because we already know the results, but we're just gonna drag it on. Okay. Let's do it. We used to make bets like this all the time, remember? That was a very long time ago. True. Come to think of it, we spent far more time apart than together. I know it's a little late to be asking this, but how have you been? That's Gusting asking. I know it's a little late to be asking this, but how have you been? I imagine you probably haven't left your house much. Damn, that line hits a little hard. You know, just in so many sense. Because, you know, Gusting probably should have asked Tramrai this a long time ago. You know, how have you been? It's such a simple thing, like how have you been? But it's probably something Tramrai needed to hear for a long time. And, you know, so many things happened. But Gusting probably never asked him that. I imagine you haven't left your house much. Well, I can't deny that. You're right. Just keep moving his piece. All I ever did was sit alone in my battleship. Were you really alone the whole time? Did you never meet anyone you could open up to? I just imagine if this scene was like, you know, adapted, it would just be no music, just clack, clack, clack of the chess pieces. I felt a certain amount of satisfaction when my children were first born. I gave them everything I could to make them happy. Super interesting. Wow, we actually see it. Well, not like, you know, like what he just said, but you know, he's kneeling down in front of a baby Kieran with like, he has like a little mittens on. And a pretty that looks like a teenage robot on, like a little, that seems like so Kieran, we knew Kieran, I speculated that Kieran was younger than Robodon, but now it's fully confirmed Kieran was a little baby, and Robodon looks to be young teenager, probably like looks around like 13, very very built but he always had his hair like that. That's interesting. I always thought that his hair like grayed over time and his hair was green like Tramrai, but his hair always was like that. He was just with green highlights and more dyed back hair. Interesting. But sorry, I just like that line a lot because this chapter is probably going to be a lot of dialogue, so I kind of want to keep each dialogue and talk about each dialogue because, you know, I want to. It's probably going to be a longer reaction because of that. But I feel like this is important stuff, and I kind of want to give my thoughts on it. I felt a certain amount of satisfaction when my children were first born, and that's something that I think it's a little left out sometimes when people talk about Tramrai. Apparently Tromrai was heartbroken, very much heartbroken, when one of his sons died during the War of Genesis, which to some people think kind of retroactively now see what Tromrai's done and his personality and everything, right? And they probably think that that was a lie and that was not the truth. I never actually thought that would be a lie. I think that's still true. Even after all he did to Amizu, I think his first generation of children, he was still like cared for them. And when one of them died during Genesis after the Hidden Grove killed them, he was heartbroken. I think that was still a true piece of information, and everything else can still be true at the same time. And I think this line kind of confirms my idea that that was true. He said, I felt a certain satisfaction my children were first born. I gave everything to them to make them happy. Although I was well aware that every children has to leave the nest eventually. In Genesis, he still had emotions, yes. Although we do know that his emotions, because we know obviously that the flashback with Amizu was before he ever had kids, and way before, I don't know how way before Genesis it was, but it was before Genesis, because it was even before the ancient wars that were before Genesis. The timeline is very long in Tower of God, but you know, the flashback with Amizu, he still had emotions during that flashback, which we saw, but where, because of everything that happened with all the contracts he made with everything, it got broken down more and more and more. We saw that very clearly with all the experiments he was doing, and with the beast, with creating those chimeras and all that stuff. So I'm not saying that he was a good guy, even when he had kids, right? He wasn't a good dude. He was still probably doing a lot of stuff, horrible experiments. He was probably working with the workshop to make the beastskin, doing all that stuff. But he still had feelings. Still had some amount of feeling. And I think it did hurt him. Even though I'm well aware that every child has to leave the nest eventually. As they grew up, one stayed by my side and the other left. I think every single piece of dialogue is going to be like me, I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into every piece of dialogue, but I like that line too, because you could take it both ways. They said, as they grew up, one stayed by my side and one the other left. That could mean that Robodon left to become the field commander and, left the battleship, left the family, and was always in active duty, like away from the family. And Kirin stayed by his side all the time. He was always by Tromrai's side. And obviously, the other way you can look at it is that Kirin left his side. Kirin betrayed him. Kirin left to join Revolution. And Robodon is truly the most loyal to Tromrai, to the point where he would go against Jihad because he only cares about Tromrai. So it's so cool where just by that little line, you can have those two interpretations, which are both technically correct, I would say. But I always knew they would both leave me someday. Interesting. That's why we raise children in the first place, isn't it? To send them out into the world. And I also think this connects back very well into Joaquin's storyline. Because we got a flashback, and I think it was Vicente who says this. The typical, how the world works, how our world works. You get a father, they get the children, and someday the children will become the new fathers. And that's a cycle of the children surpassing the father, becoming the new father, and so on and so forth. But Vicente said, in the world of Tower God, in the world that the family heads created, that is an impossibility. No one can become stronger than the family head. No, so that line of section doesn't happen, and that was Vicente's whole thing. That's Vicente's goal when he decided to work with Joaquin, to try to surpass their father, because he couldn't accept that to be a reality, that law of nature wasn't preserved, that kind of stuff. Maybe I'm not articulating it well enough, but I like that comparison. Because, the tower isn't normal. And just once, I met a mutt I can trust. We're getting everything. We're getting all of the flash. We're getting everything. We're getting the Kyrian and Robodon. We're getting everything from Tromrai, because he's dying. He's dead. He's not living past. I don't think he's living past this chapter. Wow. Okay. I met a mutt I could trust. A mutt? It was a beastskin born in the lab. Okay. Wong Wong. We actually see Wong Wong. We see his back. He was a beastskin born in the lab. And Gusting didn't know anything about this. Interesting. He wouldn't know. Why would he know? A very loyal, simple, and honest creature. I recently reread recently reread this flashback, which again is a very good flashback. Because I needed it for a video idea that I had. Just the sort of being I was trying to create. Yeah, in a way, Wong Wong, for all intents and purposes, was the most loyal ever to Tromrai, and it was just the type of thing he was ever trying to create with the whole beastskin experiment. Even though, ironically, even if it's the most perfect thing, Tromrai couldn't control Wong Wong. But he didn't need to. He didn't need to control him to still have his loyalty. It was super, super interesting. I suppose encountering that mutt brought me a little joy. I gave it my most prized possession at the time. I let it have a beastskin wife with the power of the ancient creatures in her. It's also interesting that he's calling it Nen his most prized possession at the time. Interesting. I mean, having a beastkin with an ancient power in her would probably be very valuable. But still, interesting. I even allowed that mutt to have a child with another wife. Yeah, and obviously, you can look into every single line of piece of dialogue. I even allowed the mutt to have a child with another mess. It's like, it's messed up. Like, Wong Wong, even if his instincts were that of an animal, he was still technically a human. But Tromra's just talking to him like, I allowed it to have a child with another wife, like that's what Wong Wong wanted. Wong Wong loved Nen. He's like, oh yeah, I just let him have another wife, let him have a child with another person. It's in dogs are known to bring joys to their owners, especially puppies. Yep. Definitely. My sons opposed the idea, but I was certain that mutt would someday lead our family's army to victory. Interesting. So all the branch leaders and every person talking to Tromrai was like, don't do that, because they were scared of Wong Wong. They were scared of him because they couldn't control him. But Tromrai was convinced that he was gonna lead their army to victory. However, as time went on, I became more and more anxious. I was afraid that mud might betray me and leave me now that it had found love. But so I cut it loose before it could throw off its leash. Super interesting. Now, I mean, it's so interesting how, just like any story, you reread it and you get new perspectives on it, right? Like the biggest example probably now is the whole V reveal. Now when even I am gonna go back and reread Tower of God, there are gonna be so many moments that I have to go look back on and be like, is that a hint? Is that something? Is that like foreshadowing, right? Every single moment, because we contextualize everything. And this is kind of like that, where now, because we actually getting Traumrai's point of view of the situation with Wong, now we see it from his perspective. Now we can actually go back and look at his actions and know why they were done, because he was anxious, you know, that Wong will betray him for somebody he loves. You were anxious. I didn't even know that you could still feel that sort of thing. Neither did I. It surprised me as well. And you know, I recently saw one of that mutt's descendants. He's talking about Yama. And Doom, I guess. Doom was also there. But yeah, but he like interacted with Yama. Kind of, you know. It in the way of like he thought of Yama's name a lot, and he was like, oh, I know that name now. It reminded me again of the first time I met that mutt. I began to wonder if perhaps my anxiety was the very cause of all my problems. So I decided to give the mutt's son another chance. Interesting. Very interesting. He decided to give the son's mutt another chance. Like, does he mean like he allowed Yama to live? He was like, I'm gonna give you another chance by not killing you, you know what I mean? Interesting, very interesting. But none of that matters now. I have to reread that and try to see like what all that kind of stuff means. I'm probably not gonna get it in my first read through. Can the family heads feel emotions? It's very vague. They can feel certain emotions. Trauma has definitely been angry. He's been like, he's shown emotions. Like, they're not robots. They've shown emotions. They got him pissed off. They've done this stuff, but they're more disconnected. And I feel like the more stuff that happens, the more disconnected they get. So Traumrai feeling anxious is probably a surprise to both of Gusting and Traumrai, because they didn't even know they could feel that kind of stuff anymore. But yeah, it apparently started happening after they not only kind of after they finished climbing the tower, but even before then. The Guardians said that the Guardians and Data Edwan, I think, said that Jihad and his companions, and V was kind of excluded in that, started to see their destinies, see what was becoming of them, and started to get more colder towards the people of the tower while they went on their journeys. And then they started removing their memories, which made that whole emotion thing even worse, you know? So yeah, that kind of stuff. They're becoming less emotional, but they still have emotions. But it's very buried deep within them. But none of that matters now. He moves his chest piece again. Maybe it would take a god to truly accept a creature with any humanity in it. Interesting. Perhaps what I wanted was to use my Shinsu black hole sphere to become something like a real god. A real god. Interesting. the kind of supreme being that has no emotions for any one particular human, never gets anxious, and yet can embrace all humanity as one. Charmai wanted to not be a human. He wanted to be a god. Disconnect himself to the point where he was just an entity. Like he said to Bomb, we are forces of nature. And he said the same thing to Kun. But he couldn't. That's not no matter how much he pushes it down, no matter how much he erases memories, he still has reaction to things, gets anxious, gets angry. Still a person. The gods. Interesting how the gods was put into that shaky bubble. The gods. Just saying the word out loud. A small smile fills me with jealousy and envy. Interesting. Very interesting. Look at me envisioning imaginary beings that don't even exist. I'm no god. And the outside god is just like, don't exist, excuse me. But obviously, even honestly, I still believe the outside god has emotions. I still don't think like the outside god is like an actual like unfeeling person, an entity, whatever the heck the outside god is. It'd be interesting, but I don't think he is. Or they are. I don't know. We don't know if it's female, male, or even if that's a thing for it. But I don't think it's emotionless. So even in that interpretation, that's not what Tramrai was even trying to become. Envisioning imaginary beings that don't even exist. I'm no god. I'm a demon. As he looks up into the sky. Yeah, he's a few moves left, and Tramrai is not. It's gonna be done for. Don't flatter yourself. Don't flatter yourself, Dork Marai. What? You may be an asshole, but you don't have what it takes to be a true demon. Interesting. By trying to overcome your own loneliness, you ended up becoming the most loneliest, most evil being in the world. Very true. I've been, trying to overcome his own loneliness made him the most lonely, and also, again, like Gusting said, the most evil being in the tower. And I truly believe that to be a fact. I truly believe that Tramrai was the most evil person in the tower. Doesn't mean that I think he's always evil. Doesn't mean that I believe he was always evil from birth. But yeah, current day Tramrai definitely is the most evil being in the tower. I honestly do believe that to be a fact. But I like that because Tramrai just said he's no god because he couldn't disconnect himself. But saying he's a demon is the same thing as saying he's a god, because a demon would be disconnected from humanity as well. He's still trying to say that he's not a human. Gusting is punching him down and looking at Tramrai for who he truly is, and he's like, you're an asshole. You're a human. You're no demon. You're no god. You're just the most lonely, evil person ever. You're just a fool, a complete imbecile. Shut up. You'll never understand how I feel. Sorry, it just made that line for some reason made me. It just reminds me of like, shut up, mom. You don't understand me. But no, but it's funny. Yeah, it's. Shut up, you'll never understand how I feel, yeah. But you're a fool, a complete imbecile. Checkmate. Yep. That lasted as long as I thought. The game is over. Trauma has been checkmated. Yorkmar, I wonder if it was more flowing in Korean. Yeah, probably was. But I don't know how. I wonder how weird it must have been to translate that. And I would very much want to see the unofficial translation, to see what they call them. Game over. I'm definitely gonna read the fan translations at the end of this because I'm interested. Trauma just looks, down. Is it over? Trauma again just looks down, kind of clenching his fist. I admit defeat. Just a phrase I never thought I would hear coming from Traumrike's mouth. I admit defeat. You win. The chess game finally came to an end. Is this an announcement or is this like narration? I think this is an announcement. The chess game finally came to an end. The winner was Po Bidao Gusting. By winning the game, Gusting maintained his status as one of the 10 great family leaders, while earning the right to take control of the Lopobia family. That's super interesting. So now the Lopobia and the Po Bidao family merged, probably by still the same name of Po Bidao. But now Gusting has the right to take control of Traumrike's family. Interesting. Traumrike, on the other hand, was no longer one of the family leaders. What's gonna happen? But what does this entail? I want to see what this actually entails. There's a big explosion from the what's it called? The arena, and Yorick even's like, what the hell is happening? As a result, he lost the administrator's protection. Interesting. The Guardian's protection. What the? Oh shoot, we're actually seeing it. I didn't. Oh, wait. We're actually seeing the administrator, the Guardian, whatever you want to call it. We're actually getting a new one. I don't actually know what floor this is. I was gonna say this is the whatever floor Guardian, but actually I don't remember if they ever said a name for where the sprout was. I'm assuming it's on the 44th floor. I'm assuming it's on the 44th floor because that's where Bomb's group was, and that's where they met up with Tiara to go to the whole thing. So I don't actually know if they went up floors during that event. So if they didn't go up floors, this is the 44th floor's Guardian. The Guardian of where the last station was and where everything is. Alien, if I'm wrong, tell me. I'm fine with being wrong if they ever said anything or whatever, where the floor this might be. But again, it should be around the 40s, I would assume. Whoa. It's a ginormous looking whale with multiple fins. 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 5 6 fins, at least that we can see. Definitely probably more. He has blue eyes. Just want to take the design in because I don't know if we're gonna get a better shot of it. So it just looms over Traumrike and Admin in the flesh. When's the last time we saw one? Last time we saw one in general was the what's it called? Was the last station, season 2. It got the second floor. We saw the second floor guardian to fire Evankel and Han Sung, and brought them to Karaka's heart. But once the last time we saw a new one, it was the floor of death. In Enryu's flashback, we saw the administrator he was fighting. That's the last time we saw a new one. But yeah, now we have another floor guardian. Very interesting. It's the administrator. Lopobia Traumarai. I am now revoking the absolute power and protection I granted you as a family leader. Okay. Very well. He just looks down. Defeated. Go ahead and take it away. You see these, like, I'm assuming like Shinsu vines. The admin looks like the chess piece king. That's true. It is a whale. It does look like it. Very interesting. We know from what's it called? We know from the fight with what's his name, Enryu, and the 43rd floor guardian. The guardians can kind of just shapeshift into whatever appearance they want, morph their bodies and stuff. So it's curious. So, but it is the same. It is a whale. Go ahead and take it away. Again, you just see all these branches, like they look like some type of sea creature, anemone thing, or like reeds. Maybe somebody has a better name for them. Kind of connecting to Traumarai. That's this blinding light. I'm guessing it's taking something away. The administrator's contract that he gave with them. Gusting. These are his last words. Gusting. We still have half the chapter left, so I don't know. Gusting. There's something you don't know about Jihad. Okay. We actually gonna get to hear it. Please tell. I was just gonna say we're actually gonna get to hear it, and we get hit with the censorship. God damn it, SIU. I wish I could go to Korea and just like body slam SIU right now. Holy seaweed, yeah. Seaweed, that's a better word. That's seaweed. I just wanna body slam SIU right now. I wanna thank him first and then body slam him. Yeah. Imagine we just go to Korea and just shake his hand, be like, oh, thank you for this beautiful story. I love this story, it's helped me a lot through life and stuff like that, and then just grab him, body slam him. No, but seriously, it's like, god damn it, I let you. Just the cursed white bubble, and Gusting looks shocked. Again, massive white explosion. We get a long page break. You see like the pieces of power kind of fading away. Again, this is all beautiful. Love the art on display. Very, very beautiful use of light and everything. Kun, again, I just love the shots of Kun and Dorsey just looking at all of this, and just being. Imagine you were just seeing all of this happening in front of you. You're just like, what the heck is happening today? And today has been a crazy day. But yeah, they just the admin fades away with the Traumarai contract, I guess, in hand. What just happened? I'm not sure. Fair reactions, completely fair reactions. But one thing is certain. Lopobia Traumrai is no longer one of the Tang family leaders. Traumrai. In that moment, Traumrai lost his privilege and protection as a family leader. As a result, his mind was flooded with all emotions he had been suppressing. Oh, shoot, I didn't even think about it like that. Oh no, because again, most like Traumrai did use Leviathan to eat his memories, right? But I'm assuming also the contracts had a big part in, like, you know, shifting the contracts that the 13 warriors made with the Guardians probably came at a cost. That's actually a good reason why V probably didn't have the contract. Like I just said earlier, we did have a flashback later with we did have a piece of dialogue in the story that said that V was more connected to the tower's inhabitants than the rest of the 13 warriors as they continue their climb. So what if like a condition for the immortality contract they gained was like, oh, we're gonna take a little bit of your emotions with us, and that's how they became more disconnected from everything. That'd be interesting, and that's why V chose not to take it, because he knew the risk where that would do to him. As a result, his mind was flooded with all the emotions he had been suppressing. Ooh, let's get hit with 2,000 years of emotions at once. Joy. I wonder if there's a different guardian contract to each family leader. I wonder, I do wonder that. I wonder if, because we know Hendo Locks is different because of the whole thing with his condition. I don't know what happened actually, but like, it was weird. We know that contract is different, but I wonder if every single one is a little bit different, like the wording is skewed or something, like for each family contract. I wonder. It's interesting. Because we just know Hendo Locks is different from now. We don't have any confirmation if all of them are different. But interesting, super interesting. The age of the 9 great families. Damn. Joy. Anger. Sorrow. Pleasure. And one emotion in particular. Sadness. Well, it's already said sorrow, so maybe not. Struck him more intensely than all the rest. Crazy day to witness, and the worst part, no balm to comfort them. Yeah. Struck him more intensely than all the rest. It was like running outside dressed in light clothes without realizing that winter had come. What a beautiful way to put that. And so, such a way, just that, I love that line. I love that line because I can visualize exactly the emotion he was feeling then. Because, I feel like most people have experienced that. Probably not everyone, but most people had experienced like going outside being very cold. I've never actually been in a place that snowed in my entire life, but where I live, it gets cold, obviously in the colder seasons. So I've definitely gone outside not realizing it's that cold, and just been not wearing that much for expecting it to be that cold, and just been hit with a like, oh my god. So very good way to to verbalize his feelings. He just looks up with more like a dazed face. He's kind of taking it all in and being hit with a sudden gust of wind. Yeah. It's great. Everyone can feel this word. Yeah, it's a great great word. Great wording from SIU. Just starts crying. Damn. Just starts crying for the first time in ages. Tramrai was overcome with an aching sense of longing and regret. Just sees Amazu walking off. Disgusting. Tramrai. What's he gonna say? I'm so lonely. Wow. Just, he said it. He said it to, the thing is that he said it to Enkidu before. He just straight up told him because I'm lonely, but he didn't do anything about it. He just told him that and left the room. But he told it to Gusting. I'm so lonely. Just a flutter. Piece of disconnect. I was gonna leave off my theories, but it's just actually gonna happen. Regret might be the last emotion we have in this world here. Oh, goodness. It is actually gonna happen. Just a small sheet of disconnect. He's looking at it. You know, the things he used to disconnect himself from everything. Tramrai. Just slice. Splatter. Tramrai killed himself. Lopobia Tramrai. As soon, not a second later, he got his emotions back. He got everything back. Killed himself. Oh. Imagine if you became the most evil person. Your emotions magically you're getting rid of your emotions one by one, memory by memory, event by event. Each event affecting you so much to the point where you want to forget everything. You become a demon, a horrible person, done so many horrible actions, became, again, the most evil person in the world. You get that back. You get your emotions back. You get everything back. You get everything back, but the status and protection that you had, he just ended it. Just killed the most evil person in the tower. He killed himself. Wow. Splash of blood. Tramrai is disconnected from the tower. Did Tramrai and Ho you retracted the message. I saw Tramrai and Ho. Very interesting connection, because Tramrai and both Tramrai and Ho did kill themselves. But yeah. Obviously different situations, but still very interesting. Tramrai just slumped over. It's fine, don't worry about it, dude. I kind of wanted to read it, but it's fine, don't worry about it. Just slumped on the ground, on the seat. Gusting. Loss of words. Say anything. Dorsey and Coon lost for words. Can't really say anything. Mizzino is even lost for words. Tromrai. Gusting and Tromrai were friends. They were, from what we know, at least so far, they're one of the only friend groups we know so far in the 13 Warriors. We've seen a lot of them together. And following in his defeat in the chess game against Pobedao Gusting, Lopobia Tromrai was stripped of his title and the family leader. Unable to bear the shame, he ended his own life shortly afterwards. I don't think it's shame that he felt, really. I think it was just pure, profound regret at everything. But I guess that is a way of saying it. He ended his own life shortly afterwards. That's how everyone that hears about this moment later on will recall it. Okay, never mind. I say you knew that that was probably not the right words, and also it could have been just a mistranslation thing. It could have been worded better. Anyway, if this was the actual intent, but it wasn't. Cool. Unable to bear the shame, he ended his own life afterwards. Shortly afterwards. That's how everyone that hears about this moment will recall his death. They weren't there. That's how everyone that hears about it will recall his death. That's how they will see the death. That he killed himself because he lost. Because he felt ashamed that he was no longer a family leader. York just shakes his head. All he has to say is darn, which is censored, which is still stupid, but still whatever. Because no one really cares about the feelings of an absolute being. To most people, such feelings seem like a luxury. You are such a fool, right till the bitter end, Tromrai. Okay, I was asking if Trom and Ho were the only two characters that suicide in the story, right? The story is written by the Victorious, yes. The last thing you said is true. No, they're not. I'm sure they're not, but they're definitely the most impactful ones that I can think about. V, if the story with Garam is true, V killed himself. We still don't know if that part of the story is true yet anymore, but that's something. We know he died anyway, but a way that he could have killed him, it was he killed himself. But again, I think they're definitely the most impactful ones. Like you said, I mean, those are like the first two that you think about, even if it's not true, it's still probably true that it was impactful, both of their deaths. I hope you find peace. I hope you find peace now. Wherever you are, he closes Tromrai's eyes. So, what point is there in trying to understand them? Yeah. And that's the thing that I've always said. I don't. Sometimes I say things like, with the whole Enkidu thing and Tromrai, I had a lot of thoughts, and I said like that Enkidu was doing the wrong thing, and Amazu did the right thing, right? When they looked at the situations, I thought it was wrong that Enkidu saw what Tromrai did and felt only pity for Tromrai and not, Tromrai's doing a horrible action. And I thought Amazu was right because she saw a horrible action and she didn't pity Tromrai. But now, I think both are correct. I think if both of them were correct in the actions that like in those separate things. Obviously, again, I think Amizu, what I think Amizu did correctly was in her own mind choosing her own life, you know, choosing herself. Sometimes I think people that say I can fix them, I can do this, I can help them, you know, it backfires. It doesn't work out. So I think Amizu still did the right thing in that way. And if I was still in her shoes, I'd probably do the same. But at the same time, there's nothing saying that both of them can't be correct. You can pity Tramrai. You can look at his whole life, look at everything that happened to him, feel pity for that. You can do that with anyone, even the worst people in the world. You can pity them, see their origins, see whatever, but still have the right mindset to look at all those horrible actions, see the pain where they came from, justify them. But at the end of the day, those were still bad actions. Those were still bad, horrible, despicable, evil actions. And that's Tramrai to a T. A very, very tragic character. That's also the most evil character. And I think that's perfect for what SAU wanted to do for him. So what point is there in trying to understand them? Tramrai is dead. He's just dead in front of the chessboard. And Gusting leaves, smoking a cigarette. This is the end of the chapter. There's a little bit more. Tramrai. Are we gonna get some like afterlife thing, or is this no? I think this is a flashback. It seems like the you know, like when it goes to gray, it's like a flashback. I think there's a flashback. Tramrai, look at this. Yeah, this is a flashback. Okay. Now I was gonna be like, you know, like how demons, like it actually in a lot of shows, not just Demon Slayer. In Demon Slayer, I don't know why I was thinking about it. I think I was talking about Demon Slayer today earlier. That's why I was thinking about it. In Demon Slayer, you know, when the demons die, they go like they see people that died and their backstory and all that kind of stuff. They go to hell. Tramrai, look at this. Amizu kneeling down, pointing at a flower. What are you so excited about, Amizu? Look, a flower. Isn't it pretty? Where did that bloom? Where did that bloom in from? As I told you so many times, I can't stand those things. What right do they have to land on someone else's territory, put down roots, and take over without permission? Unlike animals that can be tamed, plants are far too unruly and destructive. We know this from Tramrai. And that's precisely what makes them so precious. Their lives are a pure expression of nature. Perhaps we're the ones who ought to adapt ourselves to them. Beautiful words from Amizu. They're a pure expression of nature. Just like I did to you. Huh? I forced myself on you by planting my seeds in your barren heart and trying to nurture them into flowers of love. And I truly do think that Amizu was trying to do that before she found out what he did. Barren. That's not a very nice way to describe someone. Would you like to live together? Oh. This was probably right after the climb. They still didn't even have a house to themselves yet. So this was even before. This was before everything. Before the Amazu flashback. Before they even had that little house that Amazu died next to. Before the battleship, before everything else. Would you like to live together? Amazu? She rises. Tramrai. To be honest, it scares me. To think about how different we might be in the future. Maybe this is the wrong decision and we'll be punished for it forever. But if we don't do it now, we'll never have another chance. So let's just try living together. She smiles. Tramrai. I want to be both a grassy meadow and a little flower to you. That's right. This woman blew into my life completely unannounced, put down her roots, and then blossomed into a flower. And I didn't mind that at all. That's such a good line from Tramrai. That's such a good line from Tramrai. He hates flowers. He hates what they represent. He just explained it right now. Just in the scene, he explained it why. But she did the exact same thing. And he didn't mind that at all. So in that sense, he's hypocritical. He didn't mind that at all for her, even though that's exactly what he said that he hated. All right. Let's do it. She stirred emotions in me that had hardened because of my agreement with the tower, and she planted a flower in me. I pray that she may indeed be the grassy meadow and the little flower that my heart needs. Very well. They walk off to start living together. They might even be holding hands. It's a little unclear, but Amazu looks like she's holding his hand. I only hope that I never end up cutting that flower myself. And he did. And he did. He did do it. He did end up cutting that flower himself. That's all I ever hoped and prayed for. And now he's alone. A lone king by himself. End of the game. To be continued. Okay, let's keep it on that panel, because truly Tramrai is obviously the star of this these two chapters, especially this one. More so than the other one, definitely, I would feel like. But sure, he's the main thing. He's the main focus. Tramrai, what a character. Best thing I need to say, yeah. What a character Tramrai is. What a great story by SAU. I think some people are going to. I honestly do believe, and people that read ahead, like my friends, have known about this ending of Tramrai probably for a while now, probably a long while. But now reading it for myself, it's a lot of things, and I think a lot of people some people I think might be disappointed. I think some people might be disappointed because of Yama's lack of involvement in Tramrai's ending, but I don't think that's necessarily true. Not because he killed Tramrai, but because I think this is the best way to wrap up Traumerai's story. Even me, not the author, SAU, me myself can think of a lot of ways that Yama's story can continue past this point. Yama doesn't need Traumerai. He didn't even need Traumerai to exist for most of his time in the story. As a character to be great. What Yama needs is to be what his father couldn't be, the king of the Beastkin, the king of that the Beast King needed. That's what Yama needs at the end of the day. That's where his story should end, I think, and that's where it's most appropriate for him to end. Traumerai's story ending like this, I think, is perfect. And I don't use that word really lightly. Like, I never have in my entire life have used that word really lightly, and even then, I think the story, every single scene of Traumerai hasn't been perfect. I think some scenes are better than others, obviously. And I think some dialogue has been better than others, of course. But I think the way that SAU decided to end it in this chapter was perfect. In my opinion, it is. And I truly believe that to be the case. And and damn, there's so much to talk about. And I feel like I've talked about it most of the things while reading it, because I felt like I was stopping at every single piece of dialogue because I just had so much to say about it. But at the end of the day, Traumerai was like they've said in the story. I don't know if I could add to it. He was a bastard. He was an asshole. He was very creepy. It's some moral standards that are not preferred in our world, like inbreeding and having that kind of relationship with your own children, kind of gross, and stuff like that. Mutations, experiments, complete disregard to life, ultimate manipulator. But like just Gusting said, he was still a human. He was still a person. He still suffered. He suffered for a long time. He was lonely for a long time. And a lot of that loneliness came from himself and actions he committed. So for some people, they will say that it's justified. That loneliness is his punishment. And sure, but a lot of that loneliness didn't come from him and weren't from his actions. They were because of the tower. And the tower broke him down. He had to make a lot of decisions that weren't because of him, because he wanted to save the people that he cared about. And to do that, he had to kill people and do things that he had to do a lot of vicious other actions that were completely out of his control. And so, I'm 100% gonna do a character analysis on Traumerai. I already said that I was gonna do that before, but now I'm 100,000,000% gonna do that. And yeah. Wow. Okay. Other than that, I'm a loss for words, honestly. There's few times, and I don't think it's haven't happened while I've reacted, where I'm actually stunned. Well, maybe not. I think there has been one, but I can't remember exactly what chapter that was, and I can't remember the moment that was, but I remember it happening. But I was legitimately lost for words. Tramrai is a great character in a story that means a lot to me, and I think it means a lot to a lot of other people out there. And I'm definitely not scared at all to say that I honestly think Tramrai has been SAU's best villain. I honestly think that. I honestly think Tramrai has been the best villain. I mean, well, contentions. I think White had that spot in the spotlight for a long time, but the problem was that, you know, circumstances, and White became kind of like an ally for a while. But Tramrai, because he wasn't as, for lack of a better words, I guess, weak. White isn't weak. He's immensely powerful, but, you know, he's for a long time, White's whole thing was getting his power back and getting to the prime. So like Tramrai never had that. Tramrai was always at the top, so he was never needed to ally himself. He never needed to do that. From beginning to end, Tramrai, in my opinion, was a villain, and I think that Tramrai doesn't have much competition in that sense in the story of who is the actual villain. Maybe that'll change. Maybe Jahad will take up that position later. But I think, and I hope he does. I actually do hope he does. I actually do hope that Jahad is able to fill the role of the best villain of Tower God by the end of the story. I think that'd be great. But Tramrai, for all intents and purposes right now, I think, in my opinion, is the best villain SAU has made. And yeah, can't say much else, really. I've said everything I really wanted to say about Tramrai's character in this thing, because that's most of what this was, and I am just gonna say goodbye. I'm sure Jahad will feel it fine. Yeah, I do too. I have faith, because the thing is, this is still SAU's character. Tramrai is not disconnected from SAU. SAU made Tramrai, so I'm sure that he can do the same. He can make me think the same for Jahad later on, whenever he gets to be with Jahad as the villain. If Bomb surpassed Jahad, what the chance Bomb is the new villain of the tower? That's certainly an angle that I thought when I was first reading Tower God. That's definitely an angle that I thought SAU was going to play with a lot. I really thought, in all of my heart, for a big chunk of time while reading the Tower God story, that Bomb was going to become a new Jahad. Because we kept seeing how, like, oh, Bomb and you are similar, Bomb and Jahad are similar, and all that kind of stuff. And I really thought it was going to be like, oh, the reason we don't get to see Jahad's story, and we don't see Jahad's climb, is because we're technically seeing Jahad's climb with Bomb. Bomb will mirror Jahad's climb. But nowadays, I honestly don't think he's ever gonna become the villain of Tower God. I think it'd be fun. But I think Bomb himself as Bomb will become the villain of Tower God ever. And I don't think I would want him to anymore. I think there was a time where I did want that, or maybe I thought it would be interesting if that be the case. But the more I kept reading Tower God, I honestly don't think so. But if it does happen, I'd be interesting how that would happen. But I don't think that is going to happen anymore, in my opinion. But that's just, again, my opinion. So yeah. Last chapter, I would say, was again, a solid chapter, setup chapter for this amazing chapter. So I'd probably give it like a 7 out of 10, 6 out of 5 out of 10, maybe. It was a big setup. It was fine. It wasn't a 5. It was in the middle of the road, but it was not just okay. This chapter, I want to say like a 9.5, maybe even 10. Again, I will. The ranking system for me is all weird and all over the place, but again, just really good chapter. I loved it a lot, and I definitely gonna have to read this chapter 100 million times over to do that trauma analysis video, which I hope you all will enjoy in the later future whenever I do it. I know that my scheduling for videos has been god awful, and I'm very sorry about that, but you know, life happens, and life has been happening to me all over the place. So I'll never apologize for life happening to me, but at the same time, I understand that I understand waiting for a video is sometimes grueling. So sorry about that. Yeah, but I love this whole stream, love this interaction I've had with you guys tonight, and it's getting late, so I would want to call it a night. But thank you all for being here. Had a wonderful time, and great chapter, great beautiful chapter, and a lot to think about, and we only have two more left. I'm going to any predictions, anything you wish to see next chapter. That's the thing is that I wonder, there's so many predictions. That's the problem with this. That's why I'm not really going into predictions, which I normally do. The problem, the reason I'm not doing it is because I have so many predictions on what could happen next that I don't want to say them that much. The reason why is because this chapter felt more like a close, and conclusion, and it is a conclusion to Traumarized story. So it feels a little weird to what will happen next. The only real thing I wish to say right now is that I believe that we might maybe get a scene of Popedow's family merging with Lopopia's family, and I don't know how that will happen. Like, you know, because now apparently Gusting has the right to control Traumarized family, the Lopopia family. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, and you know, if it's Guardian approved that's gonna happen, how much power does that have? Like, do the other families literally have this whatever is left of the Lopopia family have no choice but to accept that as an outcome of the game, and they just have to bow their heads down and listen, right? Because Robodon is a thing, and Robodon probably wouldn't want that to happen, but still, who knows? Yeah, other than that, predictions, super weird to say. Yeah, predictions for next chapter. Maybe we see what's happening with V and less like. Other than that, I don't have anything, honestly. I have predictions for the rest of the story, but for next chapter in particular, nothing much really. Maybe all I can think about less like in V, and some stuff with Gusting. Other than that, I don't know, and I'm very curious to see how how it's gonna end. But yeah, I don't know why my mic just peaked so loud, but yeah, hope you guys have a wonderful night again. Very interesting. Only thing I predict is yes, that's not really a prediction. I think that's a fact at this point. The only prediction I have for chapter 165 is trauma less. Yes, I'm pretty sure that's yes, pretty sure that's gonna be the fact. But again, thank you guys for having being here, listening to my ramblings and enjoying the chapter with me. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and again,